What is up, everybody? So, I've always talked about this webtoon in random videos and even as references in other videos, but I've never done a full review about it, even though it's a webtoon that I would consider definitely in my top 10, but also top 10 of the decade, even. So, today I'm going to review Mage and the Demon's Queen and really explain why I love it so much and why the community loves it as well. So, Mage and the Demon's Queen is about a cute mage by the name of Mallory. Now, she's better than average. She's considered a prodigy in a way. Like, she's the top student of her school, and she's an exceptional advanced wizard, even to the point where she can actually take on the generals of the Demon's Queen Tower with pretty much no ease at all. It got to a point where she has defeated them so many times, they said, she can just go right ahead. So all the adventurers in this world have one purpose in mind. Maybe it's the biggest purpose, but they all have one goal, and that is to take the head of the Demon Queen, Velverosa. But Mallory has another plan in mind. She wants to marry the Demon Queen and make her her wife. And the story pretty much follows the quest for Mallory to win the heart of the very cold and tsundere-ish Demon Queen. Now, the main thing that I like about this webtoon is Mallory. Mallory is just that main character that we have all been in our lives. Deeply in love with somebody to the point where you don't know what to do. Everything is good about them, even though they clearly show bad sides, and how you're just very persistent up until there's absolutely no hope. And one of the things I do admire about Mallory is that she never gives up until the end. Even when she wanted to, she never truly gave up. And again, I know everyone has been in their boat once or twice in their life, and it's just refreshing to see it again in a webtoon media. Also, the other thing about it too is the main character, Velverosa. Now, Velverosa can be considered your typical tsundere, which I will admit in webtoon we really don't see those type of characters who are tsundere. It's really mostly for an anime thing, but it's really nice to see them come out in like such a comic, especially one that we all love so much. So it's really interesting to see the character dynamic of Velverosa, because one minute she's tsundere, but then she kinda has this soft spot for Mallory. But we find out later again that it's due to other things that happened in her past. But the charm of Mallory is enough to really strike the heart of even the hardest person. And it struck the heart of all her generals, and it eventually will strike the heart of the Demon Queen as well. But I really feel like if there was one thing, even though it's the character, that I would have to say what I truly appreciate about Mage and the Demon's Queen is the fact that it's LGBT like friendly, but it does it in a way where you don't even notice it until you really think about it, which again is a very powerful mechanic that any writer can do, to have like a subtle detail, especially something that is that controversial and that like very strong, but to put like cover the dirt under it in such a way to where we barely notice it until at the end of the day it's really not about two girls like dating. It's really just about two people who are falling in love. And I truly appreciate it, because it's not smothering to where you want to go away, but it's there to where you clearly have to notice it. And those two blend together very well into, an amazing webtoon. And just because it's LGBT friendly, it doesn't mean that the webtoon is any more or less like good. Actually, it's more amazing to me that the fact that it's not about a guy and a girl. It's the fact it's about really just two people who are falling in love, and the journey of being rejected and doing this and doing that. Like, it's really good to see it in such a very controversial way. So shout outs to the writer. The writer is quite amazing. But I just read that she has done this type of thing before, so you can consider her quite an expert in this Yuri girl GL love, Yuri fighting type of spill. But all in all, with the characters and its plot, with the controversial themes that are in it, again, Mage and the Demon's Queen is definitely a top pick for me. And the last thing about Mage and the Demon's Queen that is I feel good about it is that it is very funny. It's very humorous. It uses the aspect of a fantasy world and all the cliches that of a fantasy world to make, like, it execute its jokes, and I quite just enjoy that. As a person who is a big fan of isekai and just the non-fiction genre in general, because you let your imagination soar, it's nice to see how the author is able to use like a lot of these cliches and a lot of these fantasy tropes to make jokes and comedy, and even able to push the plot even forward. Though it's still just at the end a romance novel between two people, we can use these fantasy tropes, these cliches, all these things that we have seen before, and you can kind of just mock it or use it to your advantage. That's one of the things that I do appreciate about certain animes, even certain comics, is the fact that we know that certain genres, and it doesn't have to be fantasy, can be overused and washed out, and it's really funny to see how, to combat that, authors are basically just making fun and mocking those types of tropes and those types of things. That's why Konosuba is so fun, so good if you haven't really watched it before, because it took all the concepts of isekai and it just completely made fun of everything. And I'm not saying that Mage and Demon's Queen does that 100%, but definitely using the fantasy tropes to not only convey an LGBT Yuri love, but also to convey jokes and feels and plot. Again, Mage and the Demon's Queen is definitely an example of a really good and amazing webtoon. Started off as just like a short series where it's like maybe 10 or 20 panels to blossoming into a full-fledged series. I enjoyed checking every Tuesday and Thursday to see the updates of Mage and the Demon's Queen, and even now, only if it's one day, I enjoyed seeing every Thursday. I look forward as we see more adventures of the cute little mage and the tsundere demon queen. And that is my review of Mage and the Demon's Queen. If you haven't watched it, you definitely need to check it out. Even if you're like not into Yuri, it's still a heartwarming webtoon that is sure to strike your heart if you read it, because at the end, it's just about two people falling in love. Nothing more, nothing less. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like and a subscribe. If you also like Mage and Demon's Queen, make sure you heart that comment, that box, because it helps the creator out a lot. With that being said, I thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you in the next video.